Jane Toppan. She was born Honora Kelly in the 1850s and was the youngest of 4 girls in a poor Irish immigrant family. Her mother died of tuberculosis when she was only about a year old. After the death of her mother, it's said her father went mad and had even sewn his eyelids shut. On top of that, the rumor was he was abusing the girls. And in 1863, he brought 8-year-old Dahlia and 6-year-old Honora to an orphanage. And when the girls had turned 10, they both found homes. And it's said, sadly, Dahlia ended up a prostitute and an alcoholic, while Honora became a servant to the Toppan family. Mrs. Anne C. Toppan of Lowell, Massachusetts. The Toppans passed her off as a little Italian girl whose parents died at sea because there was such a stigma associated with the Irish. Jane was not an only child. She had an adoptive sister, and they were about the same age. But while the blood-related child would be lavished with gifts, Jane got no special treatment. In fact, she was treated just like maid staff, which some say may have started her spiral of becoming a sociopath. Regardless, Jane did well in school and even had many friends. At age 18, Jane Toppan graduated from Lowell High School. The Toppans freed Jane from her maid job and gave her $50, but she stayed in the household as a servant. When Anne Toppan died, Elizabeth, the sister, took over the house and continued to treat Jane just like a servant and not a sister, though she did show much more kindness than her mother had. Jane started training as a nurse at Cambridge Hospital in 1885. And there she earned her nickname Jolly Jane for her friendly, outgoing personality. But she was said to have stolen many small things, but was never caught. The hospital administration grew concerned over her obsession with autopsies, but didn't know she experimented with morphine on elderly patients. One patient, Amelia Finney, had an operation in 1887. Afterward, she said Jane Toppan gave her a dose of bitter medicine, causing her to lose consciousness. Jane then climbed into her bed and started to kiss her on the face, but something startled her and she stopped. The next morning, Finney decided that it must have all been a dream. And 14 years later, Jane Toppan was arrested, and Finney realized what she had was no dream. After, Jane Toppan had got a job at Massachusetts General Hospital, but lost it because she recklessly just gave out opiates. Nevertheless, doctors still recommended her as a private nurse to their very wealthy clients. Outside of the job, Jane guzzled beer, told obscene jokes, gossiped madly, and enjoyed turning her friends against each other. But to the doctors and their patients, she seemed a highly skilled professional, compassionate and cheerful. Nurse Jane Toppan was earning about $25 a week, when women earned an average of $5 a week back then. She was also getting a strange sexual thrill, and she later admitted when she climbed into bed with her patients as she murdered them. She eventually befriended her elderly landlord and his wife, but killed them one by one. She later explained they had gotten feeble and fussy and old and cranky. Her colleagues in nursing school even remember her saying that there was no use keeping old people alive. In 1889, 70-year-old Mary MacLeod fell ill on a visit to Cambridge. Her doctors had sent Jane Toppan, one of the best nurses, to care for her. As expected, Jane poisoned Mary MacLeod. A month later, she killed a very close friend, just so she can keep a job. She got the job, but it didn't last. The administration discovered financial irregularities in the office. Jane was vacationing in Buzzards Bay in the summer of 1899 when she targeted Elizabeth Brigham. Elizabeth often complained of depression, so Jane invited her down to the Cape. One day, she took Elizabeth to the beach for a picnic of cold corned beef, taffy, and mineral water laced with strychnine. I held her in my arms and watched with delight as she gasped her life out, Jane later said. She later insinuated herself into the household of Elizabeth's widower, Ormel Brigham. She admitted that she'd wanted to marry him. With 3 days, she killed Brigham's 77-year-old housekeeper, 77-year-old Edna Bannister. She took over from Edna and tried to impress Ormel with her housekeeping skills. Although Brigham made it very clear he did not want her as a housekeeper or as a wife. So what did Jane do? She decided to win his love by poisoning him and then nursing him back to health. That didn't work either. So she then threatened to claim that he'd got her pregnant. After that, Ormel ordered Jolly Jane Toppan out of the house. She tried to commit suicide with an overdose of morphine but failed and went to the hospital. Upon her release, she visited an old friend, Sarah Nichols, who lived with her brother in Amherst. By 1901, a Massachusetts state detective was following her. He suspected her of killing the entire family of Alden Davis. Jane had rented a cottage in Bourne from the Davis family, but hadn't kept up with her rent. Alden Davis's wife, Mattie, came to Cambridge to collect, but Jane killed her with a cocktail of morphine and other opiates. Then she moved in with the elderly Alden Davis, just to take care of him. Jane Toppan took care of him all right. She killed him, and then 2 of his married daughters, Minnie Gibbs and Geraldine Gordon. Minnie Gibbs' father-in-law suspected the sudden deaths of the entire family. He consulted a toxicologist and got a judge to order Minnie's body be exhumed. Investigation revealed that she had died of morphine poisoning. Police arrested Jane Toppan in Amherst on October 29, 1901. Jolly Jane went to trial for murder in the summer of 1902, where she confessed to her lawyer that she killed at least 31 people, though she said perhaps as many as 100 had died from result. She claimed that she started her killing spree because a boyfriend dumped her when she was 16. An officer worker gave her a promise ring, but moved and fell in love with someone else. If I had been a married woman, I probably wouldn't have killed all those people, she said. I would have had my husband and my children, my home to keep up my mind. After an 8-hour trial took place, a jury deliberated for 27 minutes before finding Jane Toppan not guilty by reason of insanity. Although the not guilty verdict did make some people very angry, she still did not live another day outside of walls. She spent the rest of her life at a state hospital. dying on August 17th, 1938. I hope you ghouls like this kind of different type of video. I was gonna do like a face video, but I don't like the way I look, so I just did it regular, how I usually do. But yeah, I kind of want to do this new series, I guess, and I want to call it Lady Killers, because I think it's really interesting. I really like female killers because I feel like they're a little bit more put together than male serial killers, you know what I mean? Killers in general, I feel like females cover their tracks a little bit better in most cases. It takes them a little bit longer to get found out, you know what I mean? But yeah, let me know in the comments if you like this, because it might be my new Monday video, because I really, 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 really liked researching this a lot, actually. So yeah, just let me know in the comments if you like it. Maybe this will be my new Monday thing, since I'm doing creepypastas on Fridays now. I feel like I should do something different on Monday, so it's not just like creepypasta. You know what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments below, ghouls. But as always, the last video will be on the top left. The next video will be on the bottom left. All my social media is on the screen, as well as in the description box below. And remember, there's always someone or something watching you.